What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Big Blue Drew 97 here to talk to you about the Nanatsu No Taizai, the 7 Deadly Sins Manga Chapter 329, titled Zeldris versus the Demon King. Yes, we've been waiting for this to occur ever since basically Zeldris had his body taken over by the Demon King, which was probably 30, 40, 50 chapters ago, and even more recently, around 10 or 15 chapters ago, where we realized that, oh yeah, Zeldris is still in the Demon King's head, and around 10 chapters ago when Gelda appeared to try and save him. So yeah, it's been a good minute or so since we've seen him, but basically for this entire chapter, that's all the focus is on. The focus is on Zeldris and the Demon King and their fight within the Mindscape, as well as Gelda, or should I say the Vampire Queen, being there as well. And let's get into really pretty much where the chapter starts, with a cover spread, not cover spread, but a spread of Zeldris in his knightly attire, looking like a real full-fledged knight, basically. And it's a really cool art style, which kind of makes sense for what he's doing right now. He's a knight. He's trying to protect his love and the idea of what knights used to be, even though technically they probably didn't do that at all. But that's besides the point. It looks just very, very nice in the armor. But we then soon cut to the Mindscape again, but then it begins to shift and swell into something different. And then we just see a scene that we've seen multiple times, the scene of Zeldris and Meliodas talking, and how Meliodas is basically come brother, let us go away from this land and be with the ones that we love. And Zeldris at this moment was no brother, no, I won't go with you, and I can't go with you, I will stay here, and you better be ready for the next time we meet, because we will be enemies then. That's basically the gist of what he says. And it's something that has been reiterated over and over again, that just leave, we're no longer brothers anymore, because the next time we meet we're going to be enemies. But there's something different with this rendition, because we have Meliodas basically saying, oh yes, I never even considered you my brother anyway. I'm actually glad we get to meet as enemies so that I can kill you. And then Zeldris just turns away, and you just see that Meliodas was just evil smirk, And we all know what this is. Zeldris knows what this is. He immediately cuts it down, and it's yo, my brother didn't say that. He spoke from the heart, and he realizes, yeah, you're trying to deceive me, Demon King, again. This is not gonna work on me. No. And then we cut to the Demon King, basically being the illusion was basically the body of the Demon King. So he comes back into his ethereal form in a way, in the first form that we saw him in when we were basically in purgatory. So he returns to that state and basically begins, and then Zeldris basically begins chastising him, and for the most part it's the generic hero speech against the final boss. And it's on that day Meliodas spoke from the heart, and that his words weren't able to reach me because I chose not to do it, but the only ones whose words wasn't with me, just going through this entire speech, and it's he the words that he spoke them in front of me, and I may not be able to defeat you, but I can do it in this spirit flame. So realistically speaking, he's basically going on a speech to this Demon King, basically saying yo, your tricks aren't gonna work on me. And that's mainly because we're in this mindscape. You're in this mindscape, I have a chance of defeating him. And then basically the Demon King was just how can you do this? You're my son. I loved you. I never wanted you both to go down this path. I wanted you to go down the right path. And then immediately it's you ingrate. Just he's it's ironic, because he's I wanted what was best for you. And then immediately goes and tries to cut down Zeldris, and it's he questions it as well. Zeldris is beloved sons? Yeah, don't make me laugh. Yeah, you didn't even show me affection, at all. And you didn't care about me. Don't give me this. And he also calls him pathetic as well. And it's like you, and like also it's pathetic. Like, you questioned our emotions, but like you're trying to use it on me. And like he immediately says, "You cheeky brat," basically. And he's like, "Have you forgotten the words in a fight against the Demon King?" And this is where he talks about like, yeah, I'm not as strong as you or Meliodas, but like we're in like a dream state. And he brings up another speech of like, because in this world I have the power to fight you because I'm fighting for someone that I love. And like, and that is a chance to win in the same vein as Meliodas. And what I enjoy most is that we can see like how the Vampire Queen and Zeldris, how they truly love each other, because like when he's giving this speech about the one he loves, the Gelda that we saw at first was like, oh, you wouldn't think that like she would be into that like displays of affection, but in this scene right here, we see that she's blushing because like she does love him, and that she's happy that like he's able to basically convey his love this way. And later on, there's even like more like interactions that show like how they love each other. But then we cut back to the Demon King, and like for the most part, there's like a lot of good fighting scenes, especially when it comes to Zeldris, who's like, unlike with like Meliodas, he relies more on like quick slashes of countering, while Meliodas does like the one large counter. But he basically like Demon King comes in for a swing, and he counters it multiple times, and then just basically goes zip, 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 and aims right for like the Demon King's head, while he's chanting like, "You love this woman? That is pathetic. Like, I cannot believe this." And then just immediately gets hit on the head, and then a giant crack appears in his skull, meaning that he's taking damage. And like he already had a crack in his skull, which I'm assuming was from Meliodas, but now the crack has gotten bigger. And even Meliodas, Zeldris, in another way, like goes to his, like another speech talking about he will never understand love, father. You will never understand the fact that love and affection of others, you thought that it makes me weak, but in actuality, it does not. And then this comes to the point where it's like, by the way, Vampire Queen, don't tell Meliodas I said any of this, because like he still wants to put on that facade, but like it says his true feelings, but he still doesn't want Meliodas to know that. And so like she says, all right. So that also shows like how like this basically is like a lot more character development for Zeldris, even though it's like a whole bunch of like the generic like monologue that we see over and over again. But it's a little bit more impactful because this is coming from a person who like had that facade. And like even when it comes to like Demon King, like Meliodas got over his weakness. Zeldris is getting over his weaknesses as well. Heck, even like the fake brother who had like the original son, like he was like a brother, but he got over his weaknesses as well. The only one of this family that is like not overcoming any type of challenges is a Demon King. Especially in the next page, you know, when he points out like this, your pride has been shattered, you have been weakened. Like this is something that like Zeldris like explains to the Demon King. He's like, "Yo, it's your pride, and like you're still flustered that you were defeated once by Meliodas' emotions, and that it has deemed you, whom you have deemed to be weak. You were defeated by someone who you thought was weak. So now I'm gonna also defeat you with those same abilities." And the Demon King once again is like, "Huh, you think I'm gonna be defeated by a second time? I'm gonna kill you now." Is basically it. But immediately afterwards, Zeldris, like without missing a beat, dodges the attack, uses the rubble as footholding, and then while he's doing this, and he also says this like, yeah, he's like, "You think I'll lose a second time, and you think that you will escape from here, the realm by yourself?" And like after he does all of that action, we see the Sins going after the Demon King in like the outside world, pushing him back and going for like a major attack against each other. And then Zeldris makes a comment and was like, "Oh no, I'm not going to escape here by myself, basically. My brother will still come to help me. He's going to come and save me. Like, this is not on my own. I'm not going to just do this alone. He's going to help me." And it's like, and then the Demon King, once again, he doesn't learn. He's like, ceases, like, you still don't understand. You wanted to be the Demon King. I could have given you that. And Zeldris once again is like, you're wrong. I didn't want to be the Demon King to help you. I wanted to be the Demon King so that I could kill you, basically. And as soon as like he explains that, he does his ominous nebula and just wrecks the Demon King from the inside. At the same time, that Meliodas does it on the outside with the 7 Deadly Sins, and we just see the Demon King just gushing out blood hitting the ground. He's taking like a lot of damage, and as soon as like he's about to get up and fight them again, Gelda, the vampire queen, comes up out of nowhere, and then Elizabeth's like, "You're back!" And then the final panel that we see of this chapter is basically the pure essence of the Demon King in this world being released from Zeldris' body, which is still like in like a larger form, which it's still weird to see Zeldris in like that bigger form while he's not possessed by the Demon King anymore. But yeah, the Demon King is basically being pulled away from him. But what is implied by the description of the next chapter is he is like, the Zeldris is freed from the father's grasp. And like, it's based, but then the next chapter is that he holds on. Meaning that probably within the next chapter is going to show that he's breaking off, but is trying to return, and so they have to come back and stop them. But what we can say is that we do know that at the very least they are separating, because we see the commandment orbs coming and oozing off of him. And I counted, there are 10 orbs. All of the orbs are represented on like the Demon King's body, which makes sense because a few, like almost like 30 chapters ago, that's what the Demon King was and how he still remained in this world until he took over Zeldris' body. So yeah, that is like at the very least the Demon King's purest form in like the mortal realm of Britannia. But all in all, I still think this was a really good chapter. I think it was definitely better than last week's chapter. Even though last week's chapter was like good, I think this is like is better because it's about Zeldris, who we have seen more prominent character growth than Escanor, as well as the fact that we basically get like, yeah, that's basically the premise of it. Even though there's like a lot of more like long-winded speeches that we can see in pretty much every anime, it didn't seem like it was unwarranted or unwelcome to me. If anything, I really did enjoy like those speeches coming from him, because this isn't because it's something that we've never seen before coming from him. Like, we've seen him like compromise to an extent, but not to this extent where he's like basically saying the same words as Meliodas, which ties them together as brothers. And even that little jab of like, yeah, please don't tell Meliodas I said any of this, because it's a brotherly thing. Like, that's something that I probably do with my younger brother. Like, I would not want to just like tell him that, yeah, you were right. So that just shows like the dynamic that they actually have, and how Meliodas actually had a positive influence on Zeldris. And it also shows like the love that Zeldris has with Gelda as well. And it also shows like the extent of the Demon King's pride and like his abilities, and how he does not think that he requires any help, even though it's been shown time and time again that the people who defeated him are the ones that he tried to grow up and say that they were weak due to like the powers that they got from like what he perceived as weak. Long story short, the Demon King was defeated by what he viewed as weak, and he's going to continue to be beaten by that because he'll just never learn. And I think that was basically just hammered in this chapter very heavily. But all in all, really good chapter. The action scenes were very enjoyable, as well as tying this into the fact that the 7 Deadly Sins anime is coming out. With what we're seeing right now, 7 Deadly Sins may not be lasting any longer. Like, at the very least, I may give it to chapter 350, in all honesty. And that's mainly because, like, that's just an even number. But, like, 7 Deadly Sins is pretty much nearing its end. I mean, we thought that, like, 50 chapters ago when we were trolled, but I also think that it's coming to an end. And, like, a lot of things haven't been resolved when it comes to characters. The only thing that we haven't seen is what's going on with Camelot, and if I remember correctly, I think I forgot his name, but yeah, the King of Camelot, that he hasn't returned. And if he doesn't return, that's going to be like not a MacGuffin, but that's going to be a Chekhov's gun that wasn't marked, which would leave a bad taste in my mouth if it wasn't addressed in the final fight, because he was seen to be like one of like the greatest warriors, which, if Escanor dies and like they have to fight the Demon King one more time, I think that's around the time that he would come back. But all in all, good chapter. I'll give it a 4 out of 5 because it was really above average, above previous chapters, and I really did enjoy seeing more of Zeldris and Gelda's interactions, as well as how Zeldris basically shows that, yeah, I can defeat the Demon King with what you perceived as weakness. So, until next time, I will catch you guys later. And, oh, yeah, that's weird. Where did that come from?